final project beat, which you'll notice when you click into Soundtrap, should include your work from classwork 11, which should have been the samples that you collected. If you have not done classwork 11 yet, go back and do it because you're going to need to gather some samples to use for this project. But moving on, this actually needs to all be muted for this, okay? So I'm muting these tracks because we're not focusing on the samples right now. What we're going to focus on is building an original beat. So you're going to create a beat that will come in underneath this that has 3 tracks. One that's going to be melodic, one that's going to be rhythmic, and one that's going to be your choice. And I'll explain a little bit more about those in a second. Now, the final project will be you remixing one of these samples to fit your beat. So if you already know right now which of these samples that you picked is your favorite, then keep that in mind as you build this beat, okay? So let's move on. So the first track that you're going to create, it's going to be under an original beat, is going to be a rhythmic track. So rhythmic tracks are usually ones that you find under beats or drums. You could find it in different places, but those are the quickest ways in my mind to find them. If you scroll through and select beats, you can listen to each beat by pressing play. If you're using your phone, it should be pretty much the same, but you'll see a plus sign on this side if you want to add the track. So I'll listen to a couple beats, and I'm going to find one that I like. Now I'm doing this very fast, and I would expect you to spend a lot more time on this because you really want to make something that you like, okay? Let's say I'm going to select this one, Boom Bop. So for me, I can just drag this over on my laptop, or you can press the plus sign. There's lots of ways to add that track. Let me know if you have trouble with that. And the next thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to remember that this project needs to be 32 bars long at minimum. So you're going to look up here at this ruler here, and it should go up to the 33. Okay? So that would make something 32 bars, because that's a pretty substantial amount of music. So just to help myself out, I'm going to click this looping button. I'm going to take my beat and I'm going to loop it up to the 33. This will help me right now. Now I may change this later, but for right now, I'm happy with that. So if I press play, I have a nice solid beat on which to build this track. Okay? So my rhythmic track is done. Now I'm going to search for a melodic track. Melodic basically means something that you can sing. You can think of like any instrument besides the drums is usually melodic. But think of like a TV commercial, like 1877 cars for kids. That song, that's a melody. So you want something that is singable. If that confuses you, basically just stick to something that isn't drums or beats, okay? You can add some bass, some piano. My favorite happens to be synth, so I'm going to click into the synth category, and I'm going to check out some of my options here to go with my beat. Ooh, that's nice. In fact, I'm not even going to risk it. I'm going to select this one. Of course, you're going to spend a lot more time on this than Miss Weinert is. Okay? So I have my synth loop. Just for now, I'm going to extend this, but I think I'm going to change that in a second. Okay? Now, your last track can be anything. It can be of your choice. So at this point, I'm going to listen to a little bit of what I got so far. And And I like kind of the dark vibe of this. The tone is nice and mellow. So I just turned on this purple thing up here. This is called the looper. And what this does is this is just going to keep replaying what I have here over and over again. And that's nice at a certain point in your project when you want to listen and try things out at the same time. So I'm actually going to press play right now, and then I'm going to jump over and I'm going to put in, special effects. That might be kind of cool. Let me check out some special effects. All right, so I'm going to press play. I'm going to play this and test out my samples. And that clearly doesn't work. Ooh, that's nice. I love it. All right, I really like this track, so this is going to be my choice track. And same thing, I could extend it, but actually here, these are all the 3 tracks I really need. And I'm going to unpress this looping mechanism, and I'm just going to go to my 3 tracks and work on these for a sec. So this is usually something that you're going to want to spend some real time with too, just like listening over and over again, how you want to structure your beat. So I think it's the most boring thing you could possibly do is just make 3 things. It looks like a Lego block castle, where it's just everything is exactly the same for the entire time. You can only listen to this for so long until you're bored, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange these a little bit. So I actually think I don't need this drum beat to happen the whole time. So what I'm doing is I'm dragging in some of that loop. I don't need all that slack. And see how I just drag this over, so it's going to start after some of my piano. In fact, I'm going to move it all the way over, so there's going to be a little bit of lag here before other things come in. Pardon me, I'm just working here. So now you see I'm adjusting this little guy too, my effect, because I don't want this to happen all the time. I'm thinking of it kind of like sprinkling the like salt, or like putting some hot sauce on something. You don't want hot sauce all over your entire meal, or salt, but you want a little sprinkling. So this special effect, I'm actually going to do something. I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to copy. I'd like this to kind of come up every other sort of every 8 bars, I guess. So I'm clicking paste right now. I'm doing it with my shortcut on my keyboard, but I can go up here to edit and also do paste. But now you can see I copied and pasted this, and I think that at the end I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to drag in this. Oop, I made a mistake. I have to remember that I have to click into the track that I want to paste. Now I got something real interesting. Now, this looks pretty, but we don't know what it sounds like. So I'm going to drag this back real quick. I'm just going to listen. And ultimately, if you like it, that's what matters. As I'm listening, I can already tell that this Paris thing's a little loud, so I'm going to do what I learned in my project too. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I may even want to go to automation here, pan it to one side, kind of put it in the background a little. Cool, and I always believe that you should end gracefully. So what I would like to actually do is at the end of each of these 2 tracks, I would like to fade out. The quickest way was to do what I just did, which is edit and fade out. And you can drag it and make it kind of fade out at your own pace, whatever you like. I wanted to fade out just right before the end. I changed my mind. And this is something, same thing, you're going to want to test out on your own. So I'm going to make both of these fade out, I'm going to see if I can make this land real gently. Actually, I've changed my mind. I don't want to have this fade out. I think it does just fine how it is. So I just drag that kind of out of the way, but I do want my drum beat to fade out. So I hope this has helped you build a beat. Really, you could do this a totally different way than I did and probably come up with something even better, but this is how I do it. And I hope that this helps you as well. Don't forget at the top of your project to press save when you're done. I'm not going to press save because this is not my project. This is just an example. But that should make it so that you have your samples loaded and you have a nice beat underneath. And the next step will be unlocking some of these samples and throwing them in. All right? But that's for next time. We're not going to do that right now. Remember to please comment or email me whatever you need so I can help you. All right? Good luck. Make some good music.